Hey, what's going on, everybody? Let me know if you can see me. Let me know if you can hear me, and we will get things started with our 12-team full PPR mock draft tonight on the Sleeper platform. I had it requested last night at the end of the stream. I can't remember who did, but they wanted me to draft from the 8. And so I gave myself the 8th pick, and then I posted the link to the draft in the Discord for people to jump in. Let me know if everything looks good on stream, and if so, I will be tidying up the housekeeping and we will get started. So just give me a couple of moments to do so. I'm going to try to pull things up from the YouTube control room here tonight instead of being on the stream itself. Hoping that can give me a better idea of what we've got actually going on with the likes. Thank you for the likes already on the stream. Appreciate that. Yeah, the control room's way better. I can see how many viewers. I can see the likes. I can see the chat revenue, which is 0, which I expect should not change. What's going on, Trevor? If you guys are watching tonight, let me know your name. Let me know where you're watching from if you'd like to on YouTube. As a lot of times it starts out with just being the folks that are drafting with us and want to watch along, and then we pick up some viewers along the way. Lil Colt wants to know about a second draft tonight. Lil Colt, we will make an effort, but I don't want to promise anything since it is 10:30 at this point. But at least in Central Time Zone, which is where I am. So we will see, but I'll try to, this one's ready. It's filled. I just got to do a quick couple of maneuvers. There's one thing I wanted to check out because I do want to grow the channel. So make sure if you guys have not subscribed, please do so. Trevor up in Philly. Love to see that. Cody's going to be lurking. Yeah, drop your questions in the chat too, guys. If you're not in the draft, that's no reason that you can't stay and hang out. Drop your questions and we'll have a good time. I wanted to see if there was a way that I could see live how many subscribers the channel has. Because I found some success in the past by actually posting that on screen. Something I saw people doing on TikTok. And by doing that, it almost incentivizes people to go, hey, I'll subscribe. I'll see that counter change. But I was trying to see of a way for me to look at it live. Best thing I can do is pull up my dashboard on a separate window and roll with it. Let me know as well, guys, in the chat if things are good on the stream. Like if you're hearing me and everything like that. That's really all I'm waiting for. And then we should be able to get going. They're always going to tell me that the bit rate is blah, blah, blah. I'm just hoping that it's not such that I can't maintain the stream. But if the audio is good, the video is good enough, we're going to get rocking and rolling after I do one quick edit to the prompt. We're going to give this a try. Now, we won't even go that. We won't even lay it on that thick. I wonder if I can move that, though. Bet I can. I think it looks better over here. Okay. Yeah, I think we're going to call it good with that. All right, let me see some green dots on Sleeper. Art Lippo's in here. Quay got himself in here tonight. We've got 12 green dots. That means we're ready to go. All righty, guys. Let's kick it off. Make sure you hit that like button on YouTube if you haven't done so already. That could be what I tell people to do. Nah, screw it. Let's play some football here. Getting things going with the 12-team PPR mock draft tonight on Sleeper. I'll be drafting from the 1.8 draft position, and we are underway with Jamar Chase. It is a tradition unlike any other. One of these times we'll see a running back taken first, but I don't think it's right. I think Jamar Chase in a full PPR, you just got to take the gift at the top of the draft. And there is even a case to be made that CeeDee Lamb is a great pick as well at the 1.2. I love me some CeeDee Lamb. I find a way, my favorite day of the fantasy season every year is when I trade for CeeDee Lamb. And I always try to do it on the Cowboys bye week because it's the only time, and you still have to overpay. But I love doing it, and almost every year I manage to do it. Granted, I'm in enough leagues where it's like, if I didn't draft him, I can spend that whole week trying to get him somewhere because I am such a fan of his. Jefferson goes 4. We've got 2 RBs, and we've got 3 receivers in the top 5 picks. Again, full PPR. I think it's different in a half-point PPR league. I think that shift toward running back makes more sense. But, man, if you can lock in a Jefferson, a Lamb, a Chase, there's other receivers in the first round that I think are super good values as well. There's another one right there in Amon-Ra St. Brown. Oh, my goodness. You guys, did you do that for me on my birthday? It's not my birthday, but it feels like a day of celebration because you let me have Jahmyr Gibbs at the 8. You know, I was talking up receivers. I wasn't trying to steer you guys. I don't even know how many people in the draft are watching the draft, but I was certainly talking up wide receivers. I would love Gibbs at the 8. I think Gibbs is a top 5 player. In PPR, I know that I've just got done talking about wide receiver, but Gibbs is going to catch the football too. I like me some Jahmyr Gibbs. So we are going to start off happily with Jahmyr Gibbs at the 8. Don't go easy on me now tonight, chat. Come on. We want to make this as grueling as last night, and it was. It was grueling last night. We got 9 likes. Let's get up to 10. I know we can do it. Lamb or Jettas? Cody wants to know. I'm going Lamb. I think the order of the receivers that were taken was correct. At least in the top 4. And then you get into Puka Nacua, and you start to wonder about Matt Stafford. And so, that's the order I would go is Chase, Lamb, Jefferson, Amon-Ra. And I find myself, I like that Big Lou took Amon-Ra at the 6 because he falls sometimes to the back end of the first round, and I'm not clicking him like I should be. Now, the dad last night was our drafter from the 1-1. He's on the other turn tonight, and he grabs Neighbors at the turn. That's late for Malik Neighbors. I know he's been nursing a bit of an injury, but this has been an RB-heavy back half of that first round with Henry, CMC, and Genty before Neighbors slips to the 2.1. All right, I'm on the clock. 22 seconds to go here, round 2. We've got to go receiver, don't we? But maybe not. Maybe this is our, oh my gosh, you guys are going to go 8. Oh my gosh. Achane or Bowers? You guys, you're going easy on me, aren't you? I should go Bowers, but I know I wouldn't pass. Now, granted, the injury is probably why Achane falls to the middle of the second. I can't say that 2 weeks from now I would or wouldn't pass on Achane at this pick because I don't know what the injury is going to be. But right now, as we're mock drafting, I'm going to draft as though Achane is going to make week 1 or he's going to miss week 1, and that's going to be that. He's not, it can be easier said than done to do it that way because it's a mock. I understand if y'all have your real draft, let's say later this week or this weekend, you're going to need to make a decision on that, and that's why Achane maybe slips a little bit. But this is probably the only day of the draft calendar that anybody has said, yeah, I can get Gibbs and Achane from in the same draft. I mean, that's unthinkable. So as much as Bowers is a nice little target for round 2, if you're in the middle of the round and Ladd McConkey was gone, London, Nico, all the wide receivers that I really wanted were gone, which is why, by the way, you see an RB run thereafter. Everybody's stocking up on their running backs. A.J. Brown's a great pick. I just, for whatever reason, I don't click him. I don't often seem to click him. But that's our second wide receiver start coming from the 4 spot there. Art Lippo loves him some wide receivers. I play in several leagues with Art, and he's a wide receiver honk, which I can appreciate as a wide receiver honk myself. But this year, man, I don't know. I'm probably taking a running back in round 1 or round 2 unless I go receiver Bowers or maybe toward the end of the second round, receiver Josh Allen, Jamar Chase. That's the one. Let's see what this guy does at the turn. Because, you could make a case that there's no running back to be had here, but there's multiple quarterbacks. You could pick your best quarterback. You could go Kyron Williams. If you really feel like you have to go running back, that's the last one for me. And that's what Team 1 ends up doing. That's the last one for me. And shoot, he goes Josh Allen too. So I like that, I like that setup. But after that, it's not that James Cook, Breece Hall can't be good. And then, Marion Hampton, you get into your first rookie that's going to come off the board. I just think there's a difference between the names that have been drafted so far in this draft at running back and the ones that there's a tier break for me. And that's true even before you get into James Cook, because I watched a lot of Bills games last year. I had James Cook in my big league for a good portion of the season. I came into him as almost like a throw-in in a trade. He was like an ancillary piece to what I was trying to do. but ended up kind of having to write it out with him for a while. And my goodness, did I see a lot of Ray Davis and Ty Johnson on my TV screen. So I just don't think he's quite been used as that workload. The Bills are one of those teams that knows it's going to be in the playoffs. And so when you act that way during the regular season, you want to keep a guy like James Cook fresh, and that's kind of what they did. Excuse me. All right, so we've got a receiver run sort of beginning as I'm 3 picks away. James Cook is still sitting there. I can't pick him, though. I got to stop looking at running backs. I've got 2. That's the one downside to picking 2 running backs off the top. You can. I mean, you can. We'll see if Team 5 does here. But I cannot personally be the one that's then taking another running back in round 3 or even 4, even if there's a great value. Like James Cook in the middle of the 3rd could end up becoming a really nice value. He's, what is he, 32nd listed on the board here on Sleeper. ADP's right around 32. So that means he should be dropping to right around where my pick is actually in round 3. But even if he slides past that, I can't pick him because I've kind of locked myself in. I'm complaining about Gibbs Achane. I know, listen to me. But that is like a little side aspect of it. And normally I like pounding receivers as we get into this part of the draft. But, man, when it's a sharper room, you're not getting the same receiver in round 7 that you were, 3 weeks ago when you were doing mock drafts by yourself. It's a different beast when you're in with real fantasy players. So that's something I'm going to have to consider as well. Like, can I afford to push wide receiver another round here? If I do, it's going to be to pick a quarterback because, Lamar Jackson's still sitting there. I normally am looking at Jaden Daniels at this round of the stage of the draft, but Lamar's still sitting there. I may push and see because I almost just want to see as a matter of curiosity how far the quarterbacks fall. And I don't take much Marvin Harrison, so let's do it. This is a draft where I'm going to say, you know what, let's go ahead and push quarterback because I think there's so much good value still on the board with wide receivers, and I didn't have any. Marvin Harrison, like T. Higgins is great, but it feels like a tier break after Marv because he is going to be the wide receiver 1. Granted, you have Trey McBride, and that's going to be a whole thing. But I think there's T. Higgins, is the number 2 to the number 1 wide receiver in football. So as much as I think he's a great talent, I also haven't ever been able to get over the injury stuff with him. It's like all week, he's not going to play, he's going to play. There's a whole thing at Cincinnati Bengals practice where depending on how T. Higgins takes the hill, because they actually have to go up a hill to get to their practice, that is what determines whether or not T. Higgins is going to play that week. And it's been, from what I understand, pretty much foolproof over the years. Like, if he's questionable, but he's huffing it up the hill like he means it, he's going to play. If he's probable or not even on the injury report, but you see him, limping up the hill or taking it slow, then it tells you, oh, he's not going to play this week. It's apparent. I discovered this last year. People have known about it for a while. Travion Henderson goes off the board right 1 pick before me, and I can live with that. There still is Jalen Hurts right now on the board. That would be the quarterback that I would take if I weren't going to really push the position, but I think I would rather get somebody else. Omarion Hampton falling to the middle of the 4th, and Omarion Hampton going after Henderson is really interesting. It's round 4. I have to commit at this point. I've got to get me another wide receiver. Don't be tempted. I like Omarion Hampton. Don't anybody get me wrong, but I've got 2 running backs, so I will give the gift right there to Dead Ringer, and I will take the gift of Achane as my RB2. Looking back, could it have been Gibbs, Bowers, Marvin Harrison, Hampton for me? Sure, but as I think I'm pretty comfortable with the way this draft is going. And I went Worthy this time at receiver. Let's talk about that pick for a minute. Because I went Teteroa McMillan yesterday, was a little bit later in the 4th round yesterday. Day before that, I went Devontae Smith. You're just seeing me, take turns with all my buddies because all these guys in that range of the draft, a lot of those other names are kind of around 5 names, but Worthy is one that, he wasn't making it back to me. And I really am a believer in Xavier Worthy because I'm a believer in the Chiefs' passing offense this year, taking it up a notch compared to what it's been. Nice pick by Caleb on Jalen Hurts. You don't often see him fall to the back of the 4th. What will be interesting is, does no quarterback in rounds 1 and 2, which is relatively standard, but then way late in round 3, do we see Jackson and Daniels go? Another gap for Hurts. Where do the next quarterbacks fall? Teteroa McMillan goes back of the 4th. Where do the next quarterbacks fall in Burrow, Mahomes, et cetera? Because last night, I think was when I took Mahomes way late. I won't even say what round it is because I don't want to influence people. That'll be interesting to me to see, like, okay, do people start to feel the itch a little bit at quarterback, or does it stay like it's been so far where, at least through the first tier of QBs, we've seen everybody collectively kind of push at the position. Hit that subscribe button if you have not done so already. Appreciate everybody who is joining into the YouTube stream. And Ryder is in here. What's up? Glad I could finally catch one live. Yeah, man, hit the subscribe, hit the bell. I'm going to try to live stream as many times as I can before the season begins, because it's just one of those things that, well, we have a lot of fun doing it. And so I would love to be able to do it and also kind of build up the YouTube channel just a little bit more. Rashee Rice goes off the board. I am going to have to do a little clicky-click action. Excuse me for a moment. We're getting a little lag here from our sleeper side of things, so hopefully that addresses itself. I don't like how long this is loading. I'm not a fan of that. But it's no problem at all. We didn't hardly miss a thing. Rice goes early 5th. I mean, Wren putting together that receiving core tonight with Lamb, JSN, Tedero, McMillan, and you've got Rice in the flex. That is attractive to me. Yeah, the dad mentioning that Stafford is back at practice. Back at practice, I just don't know how much of a trust factor we can really have. We'll see, though. We'll see. Hopefully he plays and it's fine. Oh, my gosh. We're getting all kinds of issues on the computer. Come on now. Hopefully I'm not missing a pick. Time's up for Big Lou. Joe Burrow goes right before me. He was not a temptation, and so we're feeling fine about that. Right now, Laporta is top of the PPR queue, and that would be a tight end that could get interesting in this kind of tier. I just wait, though, at this point. I've got two lovely, lovely running backs, and so we're just going to go ahead and take a receiver. Zay Flowers, I've been neglecting Jamison Williams recently, though. Let's take J-Mo and basically go, yep, we're watching a lot of Lions games again this year, folks. One thing I do know from playing a lot of best ball, I've got 3 Week 8 buys on my roster right now. Gibbs, Marv, and J-Mo, which is more than I probably want, but screw it. And then, look, it went the exact opposite. We get Burrow and Mahomes in the 5th tonight. So now people are going to start to panic on QB, are they? We'll see. Art Lippo gets a piece of that Chiefs passing offense. What feels really fun right now this year about Mahomes is the stackability. Like, I could have stacked him with Worthy if I wanted to. You could stack him with Rice. You could definitely backstack him with Kelsey. Renegade says, feels like him or me or Brenden, they're always snagging J-Mo. I haven't taken him enough in this recent stretch. I haven't taken enough Waddle in these streams, but I think I took Flowers in one. I took Smith. I'm pretty equal opportunity on all those wide receivers that went here in the 5th. I like them all, and to rate them is very difficult. I would be honest and say that if this was a real draft, I probably would have picked a different one because the bye week thing might have gotten me a little bit queasy. It shouldn't, but I think it would have, if I'm being honest with myself. So I'm only highlighting receiver right now, but I should look around. Laporta's still there. In the 6th round, maybe it becomes a discussion. We'll see if Lippo decides to snag him. He doesn't, so I can't. I have 2 Lions. If I had gone Zay Flowers or Travis Hunter or Waddle, maybe I would do Laporta here. I'm not gonna triple down. No, this spot is usually Olave, Addison, Odunze. The Judy thing, I could regret it because there are some. Remember that primetime game? It was a Monday night where he had like 22 targets and 19 catches or whatever it was. Like, Jerry Jeudy is a target monster. But if I'm drafting a Bear or I'm drafting a Brown right now, I'm going to pick the Bear. So I go Rome Odunze. In the tiebreaker for Odunze, Addison is simply that one of them is suspended for 3 games and the other one's not. They're both the number 2 on some solid passing offenses there in the NFC North. And Olave, I think Olave, when push comes to shove, maybe is the better talent than both those guys. And same with Jeudy. But I leaned into the offense, which I think I should have been more willing to go Jeudy Olave simply because it's my flex. How reliant am I on the player? That was kind of my thought is if there's a regret there, it's because I should trust that Jerry Jeudy is getting a dozen targets a game and Odunze is going to be hot cold. But I'm trying to project with Odunze of what we're going to see rather than what we've seen in the past. And so will it work out for me? Will it not work out? We'll see. But that's why I go Odunze in that spot. I don't really regret it. I like having Rome Odunze. I enjoy him. I think he's going to have a kind of that year 2 breakout. Hit that like button if you'd be so kind. We have, looks like 13 likes on the stream so far. Appreciate all of them. Appreciate you guys. And now let me pull this back up so I can see where we're at. Move us down a little bit so everybody can. I hate that, man. I didn't want to move it all the way. Just give me a little bit of a move. Thank you. And Caleb stops the slide there for Laporta. Let's see Caleb's whole team. He goes Bijan Taylor. That's a great double RB start. Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith, stacked with Hurts. Laporta, that's a great start so far by Caleb. Out of the 3 spot. HD said he's going very Ravens heavy. See what that looks like over here. Yeah, you sure have. Stacked Flowers and the running back Henry with Lamar. That can be fun. That can be fun. I like having one league that's kind of like that per year. I don't think I could do that as a strategy in every league. But if you're going to do it with a team like the Ravens. Do it with a team like maybe the Lions. There could be some risk in that. What are some other teams that you'd stack that way? You could do the Eagles. You know, you could go Hurts, Smith, Saquon. Like, you could have done that from the 3. Well, no, you couldn't have. Well, yeah, you could have. Bijan was the first RB off the board. So that could have been a... But again, I think at a certain point, you also do want to spread the wealth a little bit. Laporta got sniped. Yeah, but Laporta was... I mean, he was falling for a while. It's very interesting, though, that both of the drafters right after the Laporta said, I'm still taking the tight end, even if it's not the one I wanted. Hawkinson, Kelsey, Andrews off the board. So no mega stack for HD on those Ravens. And then don't look now, but I mean, tight end is pretty much tidied up for most people, at least everybody to the left of me. Clowns to the left of me, chokers to the right, it seems. There you go. So I basically know, hey, man, if I don't take a tight end here, it very well could be that another bunch of them are off the board. But I generally am committed at this point to punting it. At this point in the draft. If I haven't taken one yet, I'm probably not taking one. At least until way later. Okay, round 7. Something weird has happened. Something weird has happened in round 7 because you people have been absolutely drooling over Emeka Egbuka, and y'all didn't pick him yet. So I'm going to get to pick him for the first time. This demonstrates a really good spot for Egbuka on my team because when y'all had been taking him, I either took an early quarterback or I took a tight end, and if I were taking, like yesterday, I think I took Zay Flowers, and Egbuka was taken before my next pick. Like, that's a gap for me. I love the upside for Egbuka, but there is a definite gap there. This time, Flowers goes in the 5th. Egbuka falls to the late 7th. I think mid-7th is appropriate for him, but like I said, if he goes to a team like mine tonight, I really like my squad because he's my 5th receiver. And I don't have a single suspension on my roster. So I'm liking this for sure. Yeah, the Jalen McMillan injury as well is going to probably push Egbuka up. This will be the first time that I really wish we were playing this league when it comes to the draft I'm having because I got a couple of deals. I made sure to get my receivers in the middle, but I got a deal on Egbuka and I got a deal on Achane. Egbuka is still probably only a 7th round name to me though because like Olave went in the same round. I'd prefer Olave for sure. What a steal by Caleb. Judy, I still prefer Addison, all these guys, but Addison, Judy, Olave might be about that line. And so, like, Pearsall is in the same category for me, but, I just think the talent is more, I can't say it's more proven because Pearsall's been in the NFL. Egbuka hasn't. But I think I was liking Egbuka when he was at Ohio State. So I need to remember that because that's how I get myself into trouble. If I start looking at guys that I didn't care about in college, and then I get lured. That's how you go Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. And for those who know, they know that I once did that. But I like Ibuka. And I do have him in a dynasty. So that's, if I strike out in my whole redraft, at least I have him somewhere. So now we're a pick away. Art Lippo's going to set the board for us here. We've got no quarterback and no tight end, but we are so set at the two positions you want to be so set at. Mixon's taken. We've got a lot of flexibility, a lot of things we can do here. It's round, is it the 8th round? It is the 8th round. I could take my 6th receiver. That feels a little bit extra. I could stack Kyler with Marvin. I could do a couple different things. Instead, I'm going to reach a little bit. I don't know if it's a reach. I lied about tight end. Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland, those are the two guys that I would take. And you guys have been taking guys early. And this is a reach, I think, on Warren. But they've announced Daniel Jones as the starter, and I think that's good for the passing volume of the Colts receivers. I don't think Danny Dimes is any good, but he can throw and sustain that version of an offense more than Anthony Richardson would have. Richardson might have put up more fantasy points than Daniel Jones. In fact, I'm sure he would have. But that's not going to be the way that you get the pass catchers involved. Daniel Jones is that way. So let me go Tyler Warren and hope he builds a connection with Dimes. Because here's the thing about that tight end position. A lot of the guys that have been taken, I think they're going to be like solid contributors, producers. Hawkinson, Laporta, Kelsey, Andrews, like those guys are all cut from the same cloth. They're kind of a tier in the middle of tight end. The guys at the top, Bowers, McBride, I think are a tier. Kill's kind of in between the two tiers, in my opinion. As you open up into another tier, the other names being, kind of pushed up to the top of the ADP. Ingram, I just don't care. And Njoku, I get it, for best ball, sure. Jonnu Smith, like there's a cap to what's happening with those guys. And there's some other tight ends I actually do like, and I need to think more about the position. Tucker Kraft, I like. Pitts, I've talked about liking him. But Warren is like, there's upside. If it works, it's going to really work. And that's the way, of all the tight ends down there, as Caleb about misses his pick, of all the tight ends down below this Tyler Warren pick of mine here, I think he's got about as good of a chance as any of them to be a top 5, top 3, top 1 type of tight end. I don't think he's going to probably do it as a rookie. That rarely happens. But like, if anybody's going to turn into a Brock Bowers, again, thinking about guys I liked in college, every time Tyler Warren was on my screen watching a Penn State game, I was probably thinking, hey, get that backup quarterback to Mizzou. And then I was thinking, man, Tyler Warren is a dude. So I think I don't love the landing spot for him with the Colts, but I think he's a really good player. And I think they will use him. I don't like the clicking sound. Okay. No. We're glitching out. We got to refresh. But that'll give me a moment to tell everybody or plead with y'all to hit subscribe and like the stream. Appreciate yo 35 viewers. We like that. 14 likes. Can we get it to 20? South C77 says, whiffed on quarterback. My 2 quarterbacks for Fields and Penix. Would you drop one for Love, Darnold, Caleb, Tua, or McCarthy? If you're talking about, the answer is going to be yes on that, but hold on. Let me make sure I'm not missing something here. Kyler goes, because I still haven't picked a quarterback yet. And there's a lot of them to be had. Kyler I could have stacked with Marvin. Goff I can stack with J-Mo and Gibbs. Can't stack Goff with Goff, you moron. Goff, Gibbs, J-Mo could be a thing for my team here. And it looks like quarterback, team 4 needs one. Team 2 needs one. Nobody needs one to my right. So we're not picking a quarterback here. That's a little tip, a little free tip for you. Unless you're really thinking you're in a league with some idiots that'll draft a backup. All right. Brenden, lock in. Brian Robinson still going is interesting. Where is the running back that I'm looking for? Has he been taken? I'm not ashamed to say I'm looking for Trey Benson. It's a reach, but just give me Trey Benson. I've got 5 receivers. the last 2 days I've gone like Charbonnet, which I think is the same tier. And Art goes Krosky Merritt right after I comment about Brian Robinson. God bless the Krosky Merritt truthers. I think he'll be good. I wish I had a little more of him in best ball than I do. I do have a little bit of a dynasty stash of him because I picked him up on waivers a day after the draft a couple weeks ago, so that was cool. I would trade him, though. I saw a trade where, what did somebody say? It was like Krosky Merritt and a second rounder for Zay Flowers or something like that. I would totally do that trade. You know, I would lock into an elite wide receiver for Dynasty if I could with that pick. But nevertheless, I wanted to get Trey Benson. It probably doesn't even make sense either because of my freaking week 8 bye that I have at running back and wide receiver. I've got 2 Cardinals now, which I don't think I love the offense that much. But I just remembered that the last couple of days I kept taking Charbonnet, who's also a week 8 bye, so what does it matter? And Charbonnet would go and then Benson would go. I think I prefer Charbonnet, but I want to diversify. I want to get Benson on a team so I could at least say, hey, I did it. I got Benson on several Dynasty teams as well. I think this could be a good year for him. More I think through it, I might have him on just about all of my Dynasty teams. Keenan Allen goes. Art is going to surely surprise us with something wonderful here. He better pick another receiver. What he's got for? Tight end. We'll see if Lippo goes tight end. Benson better than Connor, hopefully. The Cardinals realize that. Yeah, I don't know if that's true. Connor's a really good player, and man, when Connor was subbing in for Le'Veon Bell, I drafted Bell that year, and then nobody had taken James Conner, and I realized it, and I had to wait a whole day for waivers, and I obviously picked up Connor, and he ended up being huge for me that season. I think I even got to trade Le'Veon Bell. That was when he was holding out. We weren't sure exactly when, we were going to see it come to fruition, if we were. And I think I even still got a little bit of value for him. I know who I want. I just have to type his name in. Braylon Allen's the other running back that you guys keep sniping from me around later. I'm not letting you do it today. So we'll grab those 2. 4 running backs. That's going to be it. We don't have to take any more. Our wide receiver 6 tonight is going to be lesser than what we had been getting because I'm pushing that to try and really load up. So this is the most draft capital I've probably ever spent at running back. I mean, ever. Gibbs, Achane, my first 2 picks, and then you got to wait. That's the double hero build. But as we're building out our bench, we're looking for upside. First year, second year, maybe third year running backs all could fit the bill. But guys that could step into a large role or could have a role themselves even without an injury. But certainly the contingent value on Benson and Allen, I think, is very high. And in Allen's case, Breece Hall could be traded. No, it wouldn't shock me. It would surprise me, but it wouldn't shock me. And I'm just looking for a reason. In a dynasty, I actually, within the last couple of weeks, I had this huge plan concocted to get Brock Bowers. And I was able to do it. Caleb, Team 3, actually helped me do it. He didn't know it. Unwittingly, he helped me do it. Because I had to get McBride first, and then I had to flip McBride with Breece Hall for Bowers and Braylon Allen. Braylon Allen was, again, an ancillary piece in that deal, but I was already thinking Braylon Allen could be the truth. And the drumbeat has been pretty strong on him since then. So as I'm getting into around 8, 9, 10, like Benson, Braylon Allen, Krosky Merritt, Charbonnet, Tank Bigsby. I think Jordan Mason is a very good value in the 10th as well. He's probably a better value than Braylon Allen. I didn't even look to see. You all saw me type the name in. I didn't look to see who was still there. Mason, I have probably above Braylon Allen. Very similar, though, when you think about it. Mason and Aaron Jones, Braylon Allen and Breece Hall. Jones and Hall are kind of the more pass-catching, probably not goal line. Mason, Allen are more the bruising goal line type of backs. Can't really catch the football. Excuse me, got the hiccups. But I just think Braylon Allen could be somebody that short yardage, touchdowns, and again with the contingent value in case of a trade or an injury. There goes Loveland. I like it, Caleb. Caleb told me I was too kind on his draft grade last night, which at the end I'll do another draft grade because I'll post the grades as a video standalone, and I'll post this. I'll post the meat and potatoes of the draft as a video on the channel. So if you only just watch the live streams, check out my channel. I've been working hard on putting YouTube shorts up and stuff like that as well too. So appreciate you guys for jumping into the chat here. Make sure to hit that like button. We're up to 16. Would love to get up to more than 16. And subscribe. I'm going to update the live subscriber count here momentarily, if there is an update to be made. Drum roll, please. Refreshing. There is. We've gained 3 subscribers, which is sick. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, man, last year this channel was cooking, and then I ignored it almost the entire football off season. And guess what? When I showed back up, YouTube was like, nope. we're not showing your content to people because you haven't done any for 6 months. I was like, you know what? That's fair. So we have to show proof of concept that we're going to be here. And we will be here all fantasy season. I will be posting every week this season. I started last year doing trade stuff and trade strategy videos. Those will probably come out Tuesday or Wednesday each week. Try and get everybody ready. The waiver stuff is kind of overdone. If people want waiver content, I could do it. Let's take a draft pick here, though. Caleb Williams is gone, and he's the one that I really would have probably liked to have. Yeah. Don't auto me. Okay. Let me take auto off. I did get that pick in. But Jared Goff, I was talking about Jared Goff 3 rounds ago. And then I went on my little running back tour of Europe. Benson and Braylon are not European. I don't know why I said that. So, look, if I'm doing it in the 11th round, stacking this offense with, Jahmyr Gibbs will catch touchdowns from Goff. That will occur this year. J-Mo will catch touchdowns from Goff. That will occur this year. Is it a little bit of a weird expenditure? Yeah, maybe, because there's other pieces that I'm seeing now that, I would like to draft. I've got 4 running backs, so I've got everything I need there. Because of having a rookie tight end, I could consider a tight end. We've got a couple tight ends still left that I think are actually a good amount of tight ends that I left. So I'll highlight a couple of those. I will look at receiver. Hollywood Brown is maybe interesting. That's not the way I normally go with my bench receivers. Yeah, Kyle Pitts would have been the tight end I would have liked, I think, as my backup. But not Quay needed one, so that's all good. Yeah, bench receiver, I normally am looking for rookies and upside, right? Oh, could I take Isaac Tesla and just call it a day? Just like quintuple down on Lions? Maybe I will. As of right now, that's what I'm going to do. You know what? No, I'm going to take Dalton Kincaid because I think people are leaving Dalton Kincaid for dead, and I get it. He had a brutal moment in the playoffs last year. Quay saying this is the year for Kyle Pitts. Not necessarily the year for Kyle Pitts, but he's going in the 12th round, people. There is a difference between, I always say it, there are no bad players, only bad draft picks. And the same in reverse can be true. All right? Kyle Pitts can be a good draft pick because you can be taking him in the 12th. And look, there are bad players. It's the ones that don't get drafted are the ones that I look at and go, shouldn't have got drafted. Kyle Pitts is free at the end of drafts. He would have been really good for my build when I went Tyler Warren. Like, let's see it with the rookie. Maybe you even start Kyle Pitts week 1. But as Renegades, and I know it's not, it's Renegades. I can never pronounce your username. As he said, no risk in round 12. So it doesn't have to be Kyle Pitts season. The reality is where he's going, for all of us, it should be Kyle Pitts season because you should just be drafting him. When you get to that point in the draft, I think that's a great pick in the 12th round. But I also like Kincaid. And I don't know if the Godspeed comment from Caleb was making fun of me for taking Kincaid. But he's the tight end for Josh Allen. I know that Josh Allen spreads the ball too much, but I'm not... Again, the price is right, the 12th round. And again, this is one draft where I probably will never have 5 running backs on a team unless I go 0 RB and I'm stocking my whole bench with them. I might as well, when I had a rookie tight end that we don't know the role just yet, let's let that be the spot where I double down and go from there. And that's what I did. I went double down on tight end, which is unusual. So I can take Jake Fergie off the board. If Hollywood's still there in the last round, I'll take him probably. Contingent value for Worthy. Contingent value for Rashee Rice. Suspension. So that's an okay guy to have. Normally, though, I'm taking young receivers. It's just all the good young receivers that I like are kind of... I did it already. Odunze Igbuka, I love my team. The quarterback stuff with Goff, like you could make a case that I should be taking a second quarterback as well. But there's so many good ones. I could take Justin Fields. I could take Drake May. I could take Stroud, Purdy, Herbert. I could take any of those guys, and I would be just fine. The only reason I took one is because of the stack, and it was a double. Big Lou asks, do you believe in Caleb? I do. I believe in Caleb. I believe in Ben Johnson. When I drafted Dunze, I was looking for Caleb. He ended up going a little bit earlier in round 11. I could have taken him in the 10th round, but I don't think Braylon Allen would have made it back to me. Same thing in the 9th round. I just wanted to grab those backup running backs, which this roster maybe doesn't need it. But since I have an injury already to one of my RBs in Achane, maybe I did need it. But yeah, I believe in Caleb, and I believe in that offense. I mean, I'm excited about that offense. Where did Luther Burden go? Did anybody see? I was kind of not paying attention. I know he can't possibly still be on the board. Yeah, he's not. I'll find it later. I'm going to miss my pick, though, if I'm not careful. Screw it. We will take Tesla because it's just funny to take half the Lions roster. All right, I'm going to check once again to see if I'm missing anything on YouTube. And then we will grade each team. That's going to be the way that we do it here. Grade each team in the draft. 18 likes. Can we get to 20? Help me out, gang, if you're watching still, please. That sounded a little bit too begging. But please do check it out. Why are we stop? Enough. Too much clicking. Too much beeping. I've wrapped up my draft, but I feel pretty good about it too. Feeling pretty good about it. We'll talk about each team. We'll grade everybody's team. Let me find the YouTube chat and see if there's anything I'm missing. Not a lot, which is all good. Trevor says, my favorite fantasy year is when Jameis Winston and Mike Evans was the best stack of all time. Jameis threw for 5,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, but had like 30 picks as well. That's some good stuff. Hit like and hit subscribe on the channel if you are watching. We've been doing live streams. You can ask everybody in the chat. We've had one of these for like the last, 4 nights. I'm starting to lose count of how many nights in a row we have done a mock draft live stream. The board's been quiet for a while. It's over. That's why. Sorry about that. I had muted it because we were clicking into oblivion. That's the one thing that Sleeper does. It glitches more often than I want, but that's okay. All right, let's go team by team. Last night I said I would do this in 120 seconds. I wasn't even close. The way I evaluate teams in PPR, I start by looking at your 4-pack of wide receivers because we do start 3 receivers. We do start a flex, and it's PPR. So we go Chase, Sutton, Jacoby Myers, Rashad Bateman, Kyle Williams. It's interesting. For having Chase, did not really prioritize receiver a ton behind him. But I like Kyron and Ken Walker. I think that's a savvy group. I think Jalen Warren's a nice pick. I can't knock Javonte Williams because somebody's going to run the ball for Dallas. And Dylan Sampson's a nice pick in the last round. Not a huge fan of Jonnu Smith, but you didn't really pay up for him. So, I credited every other 12th round tight end. I can credit yours. Josh Allen's obviously, great quarterback pick. I think it's a solid team. I like more receivers, and you're going to be starting a running back in the flex. I just don't love that for PPR, but it's like, give me like a B-. I'm not super confident to say it's a playoff team, but there's some pieces there I think are pretty solid. This team I think I'm going to really like because I remember the receivers. Lamb, JSN, McMillan, Rice, Luther Burden went there, Marvin Mims, Dante Thornton. Tons of value at receiver. Irving, it's kind of a hero RB, but then you still got Swift and Judkins. So, and Tootin late. You did really well there. Didn't really prioritize quarterback tight end, but you get Dak in the last round. You stack it with Lamb. That's a solid B+, maybe even an A-. That's a draft that I really like. And by the way, let us know in the stream as well, whose draft do you like the best? Who had the best draft? By the way, South, I'm sorry. I would pick up Caleb Williams of all the names you mentioned. Jordan Love, perhaps. And honestly, excuse me, Penix is not a bad guy to have, but I would take Caleb and Love over Penix. I think those are the two that I would take, and then Penix would be ranked third of that group for me. All right, 19 likes. I know we can get it to 20 as I grade these drafts. All right, I'm going to take a sip because I can feel a frog in my throat, and then we'll go with Caleb's draft here. Sparkling water, by the way. Not straight vodka. Okay. Bijan and Taylor is a very, very dynamic and powerful top 2 running back. We had we had 3 double hero RB builds. And I would say Bijan Taylor, probably a better duo than Gibbs Achane, but not by a ton. Barkley Jacobs was the other one. I think we all did really well with those running back builds, though. Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith, Olave, Ayuk as the 4th receiver is a problem for me because he's going to miss close to half the year. But, man, I like the running backs. I like the quarterback. I don't like the bench running backs, though, from Caleb. I think you go upside instead of certainty, like the elder statesman Dobbins and Eckler. I don't need that on my bench. But you did, honestly, Hollywood Brown is your flex week 1, I think, which, I take that or leave that. I think it's a B. I want to like the receivers more than I do. I like the first 3. It's a B. I think Ren has you beat, but that's second of the 3 that we've seen so far. Jettas, A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill, Debo. A little bit of age in that back end of that wide receiver core. Chuba and Montgomery. See, this is where I don't think I will grade it favorably. It doesn't mean you won't win. But if you're not drafting receivers in rounds 4 and 5, I think you're missing out on a lot of really good players at that level. So that's what's hard about me for going wide receiver in the first 3 rounds. You're getting great players for sure, but I think what you're missing out on, that ends up being the rub for me. Like, your receivers have to be superb. And I just don't really like Chuba and Monty. They're good floor, but not upside at running back. ETN is the same way. Scatabo, whatever. Caleb Williams I like, though, and Mark Andrews I like, but it's more of a, I don't know, it's more of a B minus for me. But, like, there's a realm in which that looks so stupid because Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill, and Cooper Kupp down here, that's a value for Cooper Kupp. And to me, he is your flex, even maybe above Debo. We'll see what Debo does. So you got some older receivers, but man, if those guys all are active, healthy, contributing, that's going to be a crazy receiver core. But it almost kind of, the reason I go B minus instead of higher, it feels like it was a crazy receiver core 3 years ago, and this year it may not be. Just a little bit of the aging curve. Saquon and Jacobs at running back, you go Metcalf, DJ Moore, Judy, Jaden Higgins, Mooney, Palmer. Solid receiving core for having not spent a lot of resources on it. You didn't draft one until round 4. You attacked them in the correct rounds. You didn't end up with any of the receivers I love from rounds 4 through 6, but you got 3 solid ones. I like getting Higgins later. I think probably 2. Yeah, it's a balanced team. You did stack McBride and Kyler. That's another kind of B minus because I like the build. I just wish I liked the specific receivers more. But that's like another B minus. I still got Ren out front. And Caleb's probably in second so far. Amon-Ra, Mike Evans, Golden, Downs, Shaheed, Slayton. I should like the receivers more, it feels like. But you also didn't prioritize them a ton. So I have to kind of give credit for, like, Shaheed, where you took him, feels like a good value pick. Downs, I think, can be a surprising pick for value. This has potential for sure. Chase Brown, Pacheco. It's kind of another one in that B-minus tier for me. I'm not a big Evans fan this year, but you didn't also overpay for him. Middle of the 4th is totally a fair value. And you stacked him with Baker. That's, like, again, like a lot of these teams feel very similar, B-minus. But that's one where, like, if I'm wrong about one of these teams tonight, it could be this one. Because even though on paper, the receivers, you have a little bit of question. What if Downs is a target hog in the Danny Dimes offense? He's a very talented player. What if Golden becomes the number 1 for the Packers? And I think Shaheed is better than people give him credit for. He's a very good player, just not a great situation in New Orleans. So that's if I miss on one team, it's going to be underrating this one, calling that just like a B-minus, C+ draft. Dead ringer going Puka, Addison, Shakir, Jaden Reed. You did not spend a lot on receiver, but you got an interesting crop of names. And if there's any question about, like, okay, Addison is suspended, is Reed, going to stay healthy? Is Shakir going to get enough volume? Christian Kirk is a very nice addition because he can plug into you could start Christian Kirk and be okay. And then you took a rookie at the end in Alec Manor. Didn't really need the Mason Taylor because you took Brock Bowers, but you did it anyway. That's fine. Cook, Omarion, Hampton, I thought good value there. Don't like the Brian Robinson pick, but if he gets traded, it may end up being a really good pick. And Jordan Mason, I think, was good value. You got very nice value in a lot of these picks, Dead Ringer. I'm going to go solid B, maybe about tied with Caleb for second place right now. Like that team. I got to be real, though. I'm not going to be objective. I mean, I'll try to be objective. Objectively, I think my team I really nailed it in this draft. Quarterback, I pushed. Tight end, I obviously, I went with the upside rookie, and then I added Kincaid. I'd probably start Kincaid week 1, but maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I'll just throw Tyler Warren out there. Gibbs, Achane, to have that with the receivers, Harrison, Worthy, J-Mo, Odunze, Ibuka. That is a 5-pack. I didn't get a 6th one, but I also got the 2 bench running backs that I think can complement the starters very nicely. Week 8 will be a little bit tricky. Might just have to start Braylon Allen, but there's a long way from that. I'm going... I said Ren had the other best draft. To get myself, I said A- for him, B+, A-. Let's like head to head. Lamb, JSN, McMillan, Rice, Luther Burden. I mean, Lamb over Marv, JSN over Worthy, McMillan over J-Mo. So he's got me licked maybe barely at wide receiver because he prioritized it more. What's his RB2? If DeAndre Swift comes around or Judkins ends up being a dog, like, I definitely prefer both running backs I have over Bucky Irving, but it allowed him to really put together a smashing, that's a very good wide receiver core that he's got. Like, really, really good. When Rice is there for the fantasy playoffs and he's your flex, that's crazy. But I feel like Ibuka could be that same thing for me. And so, but I've got wide receiver 2s, right? I've got Worthy and J-Mo and Odunze. That's the problem. So I'll give him the edge on the receiver stuff. I really like my running backs. Neither of us prioritize quarterback, but he stacked Dak with CD. All right, so I'm definitely going to have to give him an A- because I'm going to go A- for myself as well. Ren barely, I feel like, has the higher draft grade. But this is one of my favorite drafts that I've done here because I'm not looking at any of these picks going, I should have done something different. Like, there's not really any regrets that I had. So I don't always toot my own horn. People tell you I've done a lot of these videos. This is the first time that I'm like, yeah, I did exactly what I meant to do. Random Post wants to know why the heck Omarion Hampton went so late. Yeah, I think people are like, here's what I'll say that it is with Omarion Hampton. Let me find him. He went here almost middle of the 4th round. What I think has happened is people are hyping up Travion Henderson so very much that, like, that tier of rookie running back, people don't really know what to do with right now. And so with Travion Henderson climbing, it feels like somebody has to fall. And in this particular draft, like, I didn't take Hampton because I had the double RBs. Lippo picked Henderson above Hampton, which is a take that I'm seeing more and more of. But would I go Hampton over Kamara all day long? And I don't know, Breece Hall or Hampton I think I would love to see a poll on that of what people would do. So, yeah, he fell a little bit, but, Kittle was taken early. That kind of changes the dynamic a little bit. I don't know. I think you'll end up seeing Hampton in the 4th round more than you expect. Let's talk about Art's team, though. Brian Thomas, McConkey, McLaurin. Still skeeved out by McLaurin a little bit because of, his kind of holdout thing. But I think he'll be fine. Pearsall, Godwin, you're not relying upon him, which is good because he's not going to play the first part of the year. But that's some of the better value I've seen on Godwin. That would actually get into the tier where if I needed a receiver, which Art did, in my opinion, that's not a bad time to draft him. I don't get the Thielen thing because I don't think you're starting him over anybody in your lineup at receiver, and he's not going to be better than what you think he can be. We know what he's going to be, which is a fine pick for people, but not maybe for this team because you hit wide receiver so hard. He's not starting over any of your receivers, I wouldn't think. You could play him during bye weeks, though. Thielen doesn't have a bye till week 14, so that kind of helps. Herbert with Mahomes probably didn't need both quarterbacks, but that's fine. Krosky, Merritt, Henderson, Connor, Mixon. You got two old guys that I don't like in Mixon and Connor, but I didn't like them last year, and they were both great. So what do I know? And you got two fun guys with rookie running backs. There's a good team. Thomas, McConkey, McLaurin is a good team. I'm going to go B to B plus range, like an 86%. So if you're in, like 87%, if you're in Catholic school, that's not a B plus, but if you're in public school, it might be that sort of vibe. I've experienced both, so I can say that. Let's check out HD's team. London, Flowers, Ridley Jennings, Keenan Allen, Leggett, Torrey Horton. There's a lot of receivers on that team. Is it 7? Yeah, felt kind of heavy. You talk about heavy and old, Henry and Kamara. I mean, it could work out. Kamara, I like the Kamara pick more than I like the Henry pick, but somebody's got to take Derrick Henry, and they got to take him early because he's a stud, but he's not going to catch a lot of balls. That's my biggest frustration playing PPR all these years. Is Henry's not going to be part of that. But Kamara will, and I think he'll age continuously gracefully. I just can't draft him. I don't know what it is. I'm wanting, like I drafted Xavier Worthy in that round. I'm hoping he becomes a wide receiver 1. Kamara, somebody else will benefit. It just won't be me. But I can't knock the pick. I love the Tyrone Tracy pick. And I like the Garendo pick quite a bit as well. So I love how you rounded out the 4 running backs. And I think 4 is the right number to have in PPR. Because you want more receivers, which you did. You have the Ravens super stack as well. Ingram is met tight end, but you didn't pay up for him. I think the bench could have been organized a little bit better. I don't get Keenan Allen's fit necessarily, but, I just may be overlooking him because of his age. That's my biggest blind spot, is thinking that old players can't play well. He certainly could fit in very well, especially with that Chargers team that's got young receivers like Trey Harris, KLS, Lambert Smith, that just maybe they're not ready for the big time, and Keenan Allen's going to soak up targets. So I don't hate that at all. It's still the running back stuff for me is a little bit scary because you spent 2 of your first 4 picks on them and they're both old. So if it falls apart, but you do have good bench running backs, it's like a B minus to B for me. Fringe playoff. That's kind of the first one where I've said that's going to be on the cut line, right around a playoff team. Let's check out this roster. I like getting CMC at 11. I think that can make things really fun. And you got Brees as your RB2. You got Jaden Daniels. Let's check these receivers. Collins, Pickens, Travis Hunter, Diggs, Coleman, Tillman, and Jalen Noel. And you got Kyle Pitts. Yep. Solid B+. Definitely a playoff team. I really like that draft. It's top 3, I think, so far. And then we'll round things out with the dad. Neighbors, Higgins, Adams, Waddle, very good 4-pack. I think Pittman is a value where you took him. Calvin Austin's a name that people don't really take much, but that's a nice little pick there. Genty, so we're going hero RB, but man, Harvey is going to be, by the middle of the season, he's going to be a dude. So you got another really good RB there that will get better as the year goes because he's a rookie. Aaron Jones can start right now while Harvey is seasoning for the Broncos. I like that a lot. Pushed quarterback and tight end, but man, those positions do not matter. And Ray Davis, Shipley are the type of running backs I enjoy seeing on a bench. So that is a B+. That's an A- draft as well. The dad, Rena Grenades, myself, not Quay. Those 4 are definitely playoff teams in my humble opinion. And there are a couple other that if I gave a B or higher, the B- ones are going to be tough to sneak in. But that's 2 nights in a row that the dad, I think, has drafted really well, and he's done it from opposite sides of the board, which is kind of fun. I think that's pretty interesting. 11:30, people want to know if we're doing another mock draft. Here's what I'll say. Let me see if this is real, that the stream still has 65 viewers, because that's more than we normally have. If that's true, it is true. Yeah, we're doing another one. We're doing another one because I appreciate y'all for watching. I mean, we got a good number of viewers right now. So, yep, we're doing another one. Let me grab it. I'm going to post it into the, let me see how I want to do this. Let me see how I want to do this with the link. Let me do one thing real quick. I want to let everybody know, and I'm going to post this in the YouTube chat right now, the link to join my Discord, because what happens tonight I will post the link into the YouTube stream. So if you're streaming on YouTube, my next post in the live chat is going to be the Discord. That's not going to be where this draft link is posted. Like, it's the top 12 are going to get a spot, right? There's nothing I can do other than that to keep it fair. But we got 60 people watching, so top 12 are going to get a spot. Once again, I'm going to post this right now. This is not for a spot. This is for tomorrow to have a spot. So that's the Discord. Just join that Discord. It's free. Go sleeper for your league, Ethan. That's what I would do. That link I posted there for Discord, just sign up. It's free. There's a lot of Cardinal baseball stuff. I'm a St. Louis guy. I cover the Cardinals for my day job. Scroll down, though. There's 2 channels in there about fantasy football. I always post the links to these mock streams there first. So you'll want to be in there for next time. This next link that I post is going to get you a spot in this mock that we're about to run. And so I just want to make sure, do the Discord thing, but I'm going to tell you right now, like as I'm talking through it, I'm going to mock from the 11th pick. I'm just going to give myself a spot in the mock, if that's okay with everybody. I'm going to copy it now. Be ready at the fingers on YouTube, because the next link I post will be a link to join this mock draft. All right? I'm going to post it. It fills. We start. That's the deal. Go. Anthony, advice for someone starting a dynasty league, full PPR, 1 quarterback? Yeah, dude, take young players. Fill wide receivers. Fill out young upside, proven young upside wide receivers, and the ones that aren't proven, like Igbuka, you're taking those guys early as well. Cody wanted me to go 1. I mean, I could, but I think let's see how fast it filled. If 1's still available, I'll switch. Nope, it's gone. We've got 6 spots left in the mock. I'll post the link again in case it's getting cycled through in the chat. 6 spots remaining in the mock draft. It's in the YouTube chat. Grab the Discord as well. I think it should be right there and visible. But that's it again. I've posted it twice. Yeah, man, if you're starting a dynasty, more power to you. I would love to start another dynasty. One of these days, if I get the YouTube rolling enough, I'll do it, and I'll do it with people from YouTube. That'll be even more fun. But I build receiver first. Take a Brock Bowers, take an elite tight end if you can, take a young quarterback if you can. Running back, man, I'm almost like a 0 RB drafter in Dynasty when I'm doing a startup. The main reason for that is because they age quickly. Receivers tend to, the best ones tend to have longer careers than running backs. And if I'm building a dynasty, I want to be able to know that my team can last for the long haul. So I build receiver first. And then I kind of backfill with running back once I've filled out my other position groups. But I'm not drafting anybody over the age of like 25, usually. And look, I did a league last year where this was the case. I'll actually show you guys. Mock draft hopefully is close to full now. Yep, we got 2 spots left. But check this out. 1 spot left, no spots left. Real quick, I want to show you guys one of my leagues here. Let me see if I can find my team and if I can show it on the screen. I want you guys to tell me what you think of this dynasty team. Let's move myself out the way. Oops. That didn't go how I thought it would. Nope, don't do that. Yeah, I just want to show this team real fast here. It's right here to the left of the screen on Sleeper. So this was a team that I drafted. This was a startup last year. And I was like, I drafted a lot of young players. It's tight end premium. It's super flex. Bijan Robinson, Neighbors, Bowers, Laporta, kind of some of the core players. Jameson Williams, Adunze, Pearsall, Drake May. Again, it's super flex. I told you guys I'm a big fan of Benson. I told you I had a Krosky Merritt share. There it is. But what happened in my draft, guys, I think the draft is going to allow me to compete this year. Tedero McMillan at the 1.4. I did. I finished 4th from the bottom. And then at the 2.4, I got this dude. I got this dude at the 2.4. So I'm excited about that league to try and, I don't like losing in a fantasy league. I don't like missing the playoffs. But that's a league where I drafted young and I almost punted the startup is kind of the way it felt. And I feel like at this point I'm ready to compete in that league. The depth on the bench is not super duper strong, but I think we're in certainly a better spot than we were. Okay. We have 12. E wants to cook. Ren wants to know if there will ever be a draft where Chase falls to 10. We should make it happen in this one. I don't think there will be. No, I don't. There's not going to be many where Chase falls to 2, ladies and gentlemen. So I don't know if we have any ladies here. If we do, welcome. All right, let me quickly. I know this looks bad on stream, but I have to fit everybody into the same in there. Yeah, I wish, and man, there are some really good streamers that do good fantasy stuff, and I got to look at more of what they do in order to fit everything on the screen like they do, because my presentation could use some work. Okay. Nope, give me this. Move that here. It's a little clunky, but it's going to do. Let's make that a little bigger, cover up the green dot. I gotta stop being a perfectionist with this crap. I'm so bad with the mouse, 2 under pressure. All right, that's good enough. I don't want to see that crap at the bottom. That's going to be good enough. All right, let's play some fantasy. Try to make the picks on time. I have to get into presentation mode because then I can repost this as a separate video so people don't have to watch all the stuff we just did. Okay, here we go. One more mock draft tonight. Let's do it. Mock drafting, full PPR, 12-team league. I will be going from the 1.11. This is the 11th pick. This is near the turn. I've been drafting a lot near the middle. I'm excited to go near the turn. Please do, if you're still watching, if you're still hanging out with us, hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. I will update the live list. We've almost got 30 likes. That's big doings. I will update the channel subscriber number so that you know if you're contributing. You know if you're helping me cook. And I hope you cook in this draft. All right, let's do it. And we did add a subscriber, so we're going to... You know what I need? I need one of those like little sound effects where like you start clapping if people subscribe. That would be pretty lit. All right, let me get back to the sleeper so I can see. Okay, I start talking about Chase dropping to the 2, and then he does. Look at that. Gibbs goes way earlier this time. Saquon at the 7, at the 8. Yeah, Saquon went 7th. Okay. So a little bit different than last time. There's no doubt about that. Ren's on the clock. There's good running backs. There's good receivers and kind of a receiver run that's going to allow me to probably go running back here. What do I really want to do? What is Team 12 going to do? What is Team 12 going to do? Because I'm looking at Ashton Genty. I don't know if Genty's going to make it back to me. I don't think Nico Collins will. Let's be a man, though. We're taking McCaffrey. You know, we're taking CMC. If we're at the turn, we're taking CMC. I was hoping, okay, maybe CMC makes it back to me. I think that's too tempting at the turn to go CMC, Nico, CMC, Achan, CMC, Derrick Henry, Genty. So we go Achan, Genty, which leaves me Derrick Henry. I don't want him for PPR, so I'll take Nico Collins. That's a good little start. McCaffrey, Nico. Let's rock, baby. HD almost took Saquon at the 3 and then thought of the Madden curse. Was McCaffrey on Madden last year and got cursed? Did that just happen as well? I got to check that. Who was Madden? Because I don't buy Madden anymore. Who was the Madden cover? John Madden. No, it was McCaffrey, wasn't it? Or is it McCaffrey this year? I can never tell. Is this year's game Madden 25 or is it 26? Somebody explain this to me. Hit that subscribe button to our 73 live concurrent viewers. You guys are the best. Sub to the channel. We've done a fantasy mock draft live stream every night of the week. And so make sure you're hitting us up for future stuff. All right, let's talk about what we're seeing in round 2. Brenden copying my start from the 11. I didn't know what your start was, bro, but I guess it means it was a good one. I like Team 8 right now. I'm going to tell you the best starts after 2 rounds, and Team 8 is in the running. But how they catch up at running back will be interesting to see. Josh Allen. Yeah, I don't play Madden anymore either. I did buy the college game last year, haven't done it this year. The mechanics of the game were too different. It's not how it used to be. So I didn't repurchase. I'm also doing this crap every night. I don't have time to play video games. I'm doing live streams. Again, in theory, if I would do the video games during the live stream, that would be like 2 birds, 1 stone. Okay, my favorite starts. Bijan McConkey's good. Gibbs, Kyron is pretty good. Neighbors Bowers, I really, really like. Amon-Ra Chase Brown is underrated. I love McCaffrey Collins, obviously. Achan Genti is solid. I'm going to say Neighbors Bowers is maybe my favorite, but you're challenging yourself to see what you're going to do at running back thereafter. I like this Bijan McConkey JSN thing, though. Team 2, Jamar Chase, A.J. Brown, Josh Allen. Let me know in the chat, whose teams are you liking so far and who's going to need to stick the landing at running back because they're going to have to catch up. That's true here, and that's true here. HD will not need to catch up at running back, and they kind of mirrored some similarities to my start last round when I went Gibbs, Achan, Marvin Harrison. Jacobs is a nice workhorse to pair with 2 PPR receivers by Team 5. That's Team 4. My bad. Hit that subscribe button. After my pick, I'll see if I'm missing any YouTube comments. It's hard to... I need another monitor is what I need. Because I'm like squinting at everything that I see. Okay, little multicolored draft board here. Wide receiver, running back, tight end. Don't mind that from the middle of the round. Let's see what Tiny... Did I say Tiny Cheese? That's a heck of a username. All right. This is a way that you can do 0 RB, though. You do it by saying we're going to be number 1 at tight end, and we're going to be damn close to number 1 at quarterback. I don't mind that start at all. The more I see of it, the more I like this start, but you got to show me something at RB. Don't pick the wrong ones or I'll give you a bad grade. All right, I'm up at 3.11. Oh, boy. The pressure's on. We're in the pressure cooker now. Gosh dang it. I don't like drafting at the turn. I don't like it at all. I don't want to take Jalen Hurts. I don't want to do any of this. I want to go home. Crap.
Oh, come on, dude.
I missed it, but I went at the very end. Oh, turn off auto. Oh, that was almost close. Okay, Evans goes. Yeah, Devontae Adams is somebody that I'm not giving up on, and I think Stafford or not, Devontae Adams can be really good. He's like the rare exception to the old player, young player divide that often exists within my mind. Like, if I wanted to, could I start reaching down here for all these receivers that I like? I guess, but I just, man, you got that ADP thing, because like in theory, this would have been my best chance to know I'm getting, DJ Moore and Tetaroa or Xavier Worthy and Zay Flowers. I could have done it. I took Devontae. We'll see how I feel about that. I was panicking. Marion Hampton goes, that would have been, I was thinking about taking Hampton in the other spot too. Let's take McMillan. He's not making it back to the back of the 5th, so keep dreaming. If I'm taking him, I'm taking him now. Breece Hall would have been a consideration for me as well. He goes right after. And he fits Ren's team really well. Although, 2 Jets, tell me how you're feeling about that, because that's a little bit iffy. I don't take much Garrett Wilson for how much I like his talent. It's kind of that thing we talked about with the Colts. Once they named Danny Dimes the quarterback, I'm suddenly looking at their pass catchers like they're a little bit more attractive. I like Justin Fields standalone, but I don't like it when it comes to, the receivers. Anybody that doesn't need Justin Fields to throw the ball to them, they have a chance to score for fantasy on the Jets. But if you do need Justin Fields to throw you the ball, I don't know. Okay, I really like what you did here in the middle, Travion Henderson. I was thinking about Omarion Hampton. I was thinking about Henderson. I didn't take either. Ren said he wanted Hampton, took Breece Hall instead. Yeah, man, you got to go Hampton over Garrett Wilson, I think, if that's the guy you really wanted. Because then you kind of chase it with the Breece Hall thing because you need a running back, and he's just so happens to be a Jet. Now you got 2 Jets when you wanted 0. Kind of crazy. Jalen Hurts, good value here. Team 1 is knocking this out of the park because at that turn, they grabbed the stack. Really, really like it. I think drafting from the 1 is really fun this year, and drafting from the 11 is not. Like think about this. Here's the reason it's just so damn hard to draft from the 11. Look at Team 1. Running back, Bijan. All right. Would I rather have Bijan or McCaffrey? I'd rather have Bijan. Okay. 3 wide receivers so far through 5 rounds. McConkey, JSN, Smith. 3 wide receivers. Collins, Adams, McMillan. I'd rather have Nico than McConkey, but I'd rather have JSN than Adams. And, I mean, I guess I better rather have McMillan than Smith, but I think that's where it's like a flatter round. Round 4, round 5 is very flat when it comes to receivers. They're all very similar to me. And so, like, my point with this is we've got a very similar build, but he's got an elite quarterback stacked. I've got no quarterback and no prospects to get one, not of the Jalen Hurts ilk. And so, like, we're using the same draft strategy, but I can't be better at it than he can because I'm on the wrong side of the board. So, I like the Collins, Adams, McMillan thing for sure. I just think, I don't know what I think. I think I wish I had, I probably wish I hadn't taken Adams, but I like Adams. I don't need to be so afraid of him if I elected to take him like I did. Okay, let's fill the flex with a receiver. Jalen Waddle's top of the queue. We don't even have to think about it. It's easy. It's easy. Now I'm feeling better about my team. Yep, he's the last of that tier for me. And then you get into the Ridley, Judy, Olave, Addison, Nadunze tier. And that's kind of a tier for me at wide receiver. But here's the deal. If one of those guys that I just named off is going to drop to me for sure. But will I take a bench wide receiver or will I address some of these other positions? That will depend on what this guy does. And after my pick, I'll be able to circle back to YouTube. I know I keep saying I'm going to, and I haven't done it. We're up to 500 total views for anybody who cares. Currently 69 views. That's very nice. Live streams. 28 likes. Can we get to 30? Maybe I need to dangle a carrot to get people to like the stream. We're at the turn. We're having a hard time with this turn. We go Ridley and Patrick Mahomes. Well, I've heard of him. I might take his running back. I don't draft much Pacheco. This is kind of dead zone-y for me, but Pacheco I think is actually going to be pretty good this year. So it's going to be Pacheco. Is there another running back? RJ Harvey. Yeah. I don't know why I can't get into taking RJ Harvey. I'm probably wrong. Maybe I don't trust Sean Payton. Nah, let's take Addison. Let's go Hero RB. Pacheco would have been, if I were really going for a balanced team, that would have been the way. But I don't. I blow off the running back position annually because I want receivers in PPR. I want to be able to trade from strength. Last year, none of the running backs got hurt that I thought kind of would. Like, I was underwhelmed by a guy changing teams in Josh Jacobs. I was underwhelmed by Kamara. Chuba Hubbard, I don't think was even a consideration because Jonathan Brooks was supposed to be the running back for the Panthers. But the guys that go in the round, it would be better for me to look at the RB list. James Conner, Montgomery, Mixon, Aaron Jones. I just didn't draft any of them. I took wide receivers in those middle rounds. And that's what I'm going to do this year. But Pacheco, I almost did pick. James Conner, I did not almost pick him. You guys know I'm Team Trey Benson on that. Okay, so as much as I'm hyping Pacheco, not enough receivers on this team. It's a good pick if you need an RB2. We'll see what happens there. I love the players. I like the players here. I like the values being drafted. Travis Hunter was a really good receiver pick in the middle of the fifth. I need to see more in the right receivers there moving forward. Who was the guy that I said needed to catch up at running back? How did we do? Yeah, you grabbed a good wide receiver, too, that's going to get volume in the Dak Prescott Cowboys offense behind CeeDee Lamb. I think Pickens will get enough. Ken Walker's really savvy. I mean, that is a decent way to catch up at running back for where it was. I probably would have gone Travion Henderson over Ken Walker, but I don't know. Ken Walker could easily score more fantasy points this year. RJ Harvey, though, is a nice pick. The cheese man is doing well. Okay, I did say I would go back to YouTube. Golden gets drafted as the wide receiver 4 right there. Let's check this out. Make sure we're good. We did get to 30 likes. And here's something else that I want to do to dangle the carrot. Let's just call it likes. Doing a little bit of housekeeping here, a little nip tuck there. Now you guys can see how many likes we have, how many subs the channel has. It's so primitive, but it kind of works too, so we can't complain. Egbuka goes right where I said he should. Top of the 7th. That's a more than fine spot for him. We got a Bijan and Pollard running back room. Egbuka is our flex. A little bit iffy to have him be your flex week 1, but also you can draft somebody later that you could start over Egbuka if he ends up buried on the depth chart. But with Godwin injured, with Jalen McMillan injured, probably starting week 1. So good on you for grabbing Egbuka when you did. I think he's a great pick at the top of the 7th. I did look at YouTube. I failed to find any comments. McCaffrey, yep, I drafted McCaffrey 1-1 last year. I barely got to trade him before it was too late. And I mean barely. I guess he did kind of come back. Cody said the stream is popping tonight. Like the stream. Y'all, there should be 50 likes in here. Yeah, can I put comments on the screen, or is that just a StreamYard thing? Yeah, I don't know how to put comments on the screen. I'm learning. I'm just learning. I'm just a little baby. This is good. Things are going well. All right, let me get back to what I need to get back to. 69, nice. I love seeing 69 viewers for no reason in particular. All right, Tiny Cheese, you're on the clock, big guy. Let's see it. You've had a magical draft so far. Can he do it again? Yeah, you're ticking. All right, Quinshon Judkins, you need more receivers, but I can't argue with that pick, because if he ends up the starter and as talented as he was in college, he's not getting charged with a crime. Could be a great pick. You need some receivers, though, big dog. It's funny, I yelled at Cheese for not catching up at running back. Then he caught up at running back, but suddenly he's short at receiver. That's what happens when you go elite tight end and elite quarterback. You end up in a deficit somewhere. All right, me. We've got all the wide receivers we could possibly want. Don't take another one. Running back. No. Click running back. Oh, boy. I hate the turn. I really do. We'll take Tyrone Tracy. I think Tyrone Tracy's like I'm so anti Cam Scatterboo. Tyrone Tracy's a good running back 2 pick. Again, we have to remember the strength of our team is going to be wide receiver, and we've got the 5, so we feel great about that. We could draft a quarterback, Or we could say the strength of our team is wide receiver. Let's go find a rookie like Jaden Higgins. That's what we're going to do. All right, so we're really locked into Hero RB. What does that mean? We need McCaffrey to be healthy. And then our receivers are going to be what gets us home. I don't think I'll give myself an A on this draft, but it also feels like from 11, it's very difficult. Yeah, Tracy, man, he's my running back in that tier. If I'm going to like not go full hero RB, but I'm going to do like kind of halfway commit to a hero and then still take a running back decently early. Because like, let's look and see the quarterbacks and tight ends that go off. You know, I'm not taking Hawkinson. God bless him, but I'm just not. I don't need receiver, you know, after the Jaden Higgins pick. I prefer the upside of Jaden Higgins. I think he's going to start. If he doesn't, he'll start soon enough. And he's on my bench, so I don't need him. E said I took all the receivers. Yeah, I'm giving him crap for not taking a receiver. And he's like, bro, you took them all. You have them. They're on your roster. And that's my problem. We're going to highlight E here. And he goes Baker. Needed a quarterback. Tiny took Josh Downs. Got his third receiver. Yeah, I did, man. I take 6 and then I'm out. 6 and then out at wide receiver. And thinking about like, okay, could I have pushed that 6 wide receiver off? I probably could have. Marvin Mims, Luther Burden, they're both down there. Could I have gotten one of those to come back to me? Maybe. But I think Higgins has more of a clear path to elite target share than those guys have. Who said no idea how to feel about it? Sean has no idea how to feel about it. Well, let's talk about it. Barkley Irving. So we went, how many hero RB builds this time? 3. Achane Genti, Barkley Irving, Gibbs, Kyron. I think I like Gibbs, Kyron the best, but Barkley Irving is not bad. Worthy, Flowers, Judy, Reed. I like it. Reed I like better as my wide receiver 5, but you have a double hero RB, so you weren't prioritizing receiver, and you still ended up with 4 really good ones, and you drafted Lamar Jackson. I hate the Mixon pick, but honestly, everything before that I really like. When you draft 2 running backs, for me, I'm not taking the third until a double-digit round, unless it's just a total smash. And for me, I just don't think Mixon can. But I'm biased against him. I'm biased against the older running backs like him too. So nothing on that. I think it's largely a very good draft so far, Sean. I mean, I like drafts that it's almost like classical music. A conductor is like, okay, and here's a couple of running backs, and now we need to get the receiver, and it's like there's good flow to it. And I think your draft at least makes sense from like a stylistic perspective. Mine, I fully understand that people are going to go, you drafted too many receivers and you lost value in your lineup because of it. Trev saying get your guys, and he's right. You always have to get your guys. His guy appears to have been Keon Coleman here. All right, we got 31 likes. You guys can do better than that. I'm not trying to hate or nothing, but I need to remember to check the likes with frequency. Doc, my leagues are paid leagues. But this is a mock draft. Let me find the thing so I can know who to pick. I got to tell you, round 9 is looking gross to me. Javonte, Godwin, Bo Nix, Mooney, Trey Harris, until Luther Burden, which is a great pick. I am a Mizzou grad, so that's cheating. But Tiny is really going to acquit himself nicely to his draft grade. Sean says that been mocking 7 so heavy because it's the worst pick and I have it in my main league. Never expected Saquon there. I actually like 7. I don't mind it, man. I think you can take some ADP value that may fall to you. And you don't have to wait. You're not going to get beat up by positional runs. I think 7 you can live with. I'm not a fan of 11. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not enjoying myself. Not at all. And I didn't even draft like a Dunze to be able to take Caleb Williams here at quarterback. I'm just like, I should have done one mock tonight and gone to bed. That's what I should have done. But I'm gonna scroll down and take Caleb Williams because I'm panicking on the clock and I like him. It's a reach. I probably should have taken a running back. Let's see. We got a Marion Hampton, H. Genti. I should be able to take a running back here. This guy on the turn should not take any of my running backs. Yeah, we should be fine. Who do I want though? Jaylen Warren's sitting there. Jaylen Warren is yoked, man. I like Caleb Johnson, but he shouldn't be going 2 full rounds before Jaylen Warren. Not Quay can let me know what he thinks of that because he's a Steelers fan who did take Caleb Johnson. But like Jaylen Warren's going to be splitting that work at least 50-50. Charbonnet's the other guy that I tend to take there, but I'm like, you know what? Let's take Warren this time. I've seen good things from him, and I think he can catch the ball. They trust him in pass protection. It's a little iffy because here's what I've done. I've taken 2 running backs where this is interesting. Tyrone Tracy, Jaylen Warren on my team. I've taken 2 running backs. I've got to start one of them at RB2. Both of them have a rookie drafted to their team that is potentially going to take over a good portion of the role by midseason. So there's risk in the team that I have drafted here. There is no question about that. That is interesting. Like the stream if you'd be so kind. We did get up to 32, so that's lit. And hit subscribe as well. It can't hurt. It's all free. Rolling through round 10. As we passed midnight on the Central Time Zone. Trey Benson, round 10. Good value there. My draft grades after this one, I think I'll have to do a little bit quicker because I am getting a little bit run out of steam. What do I think of DK this year? Yeah, I don't love him because I don't love the Steelers passing game. Arthur Smith is involved. Need I say more? Yeah, don't trust Rodgers. Don't trust Arthur Smith. Another reason to like the running backs in Pittsburgh. But DK should get tons of looks. Yeah, I mean, who else is catching the ball there for them? Well, they did trade for Jonnu Smith. Stupid as well. Like, I just don't get some of what's going on there. But yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, if he can develop like a Devontae Adams-like connection with DK Metcalf, I think they were rooming together at camp, right? There was something to do with like they had a rule about flushing the toilet during the night. And so DK texts Aaron Rodgers and goes, "Hey, are you asleep?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "Okay, cool. I'm going to flush." Like, I saw that storyline. DK Metcalf will have target share. That's the one thing that we know he's going to have. But, dude, it's Arthur Smith. It's Aaron Rodgers. And it ain't, it ain't 2012 anymore. Or whatever Aaron Rodgers' best years would have been. It ain't that anymore. See, Aaron Rodgers is 41 years old. When were his best years? He did have a star next to his name in 2012. All right, so that wasn't totally wrong to say. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and I will make a draft pick here soon. The dad has fallen out. Dad, if you don't know it, you're on auto draft. I know that your green dot is still there, so just make sure to unclick auto for yourself. Garendo goes. I did have half a mind to go Garendo behind McCaffrey on like a just-in-case contingency. Obviously, it doesn't end up happening. I'm going to take Tucker Kraft. I'm not going to overthink it here. I really like Tucker Kraft, and I don't have a tight end, so let's ready, aim, fire. Braylon Allen gone, Trey Benson gone, Jordan Mason gone, Krosky gone, Sharps is gone, all my running backs are gone. Tootin is now gone. I need one more running back, or I'd like to have one more. Jaden Blue, he's kind of the young guy that's in that mix. I've got 6 receivers. There's nothing I really need. Go to top of total ADP and see. Oh, no, let's take Kyle Pitts. Let's go double tight end because y'all keep sniping me on Kyle Pitts, and I want to show my love for the lad. So, Kyle Pitts, welcome to the squad, round 12. And then I'll take a running back at the end because I am a little bit lean for sure. McCaffrey, Tracy, Jalen Warren, yeah, that's a little bit lean. But I'd rather do it that way because I swear there are more running backs on waivers that become relevant than any other position throughout the season. So I just don't draft a ton of running backs. I hope that I can trade some of the receivers for people who did draft a lot of running backs and they get hurt or they just didn't draft the right running backs. And then maybe I can trade into something. So that's part of the thought process as well with taking so many receivers. Because, like, if they're all popping, or, like, if 4 of the 5 pop, well, those are the 4 that I play, and then I don't have to I'm in PPR, so I'm prioritizing what I consider to be the most important position. Trev says we love Kyle Pitts. Well, I do. I do in the 12th. Tiny Cheese ends up with Drake May. I don't know if that was autoed or not, but it's not a bad play. I just, he's another receiver. Luther Burden says 4th. Believe me, I like Luther Burden, but there's some risk there. Let me check out, make sure my face is not ruining the draft here. It kind of is. We'll move it out of the way for now. Maybe we'll move it out of the way and make it smaller. Because we've got about a round to go, and then I will wrap with quick rapid fire. I really will try to rapid fire the draft grades. If you'd be so kind as to a couple things, I'll post the link to Discord as well. This is where we post the ability to join live drafts first. So that's where you want to be. I just posted it in the YouTube chat. We did get to 33 likes, which is pretty lit. And like I said, I think 4 nights in a row we've done these live streams, so more to come. I do have some responsibilities after Cardinal baseball games on YouTube, but they're playing in Florida this week, so it's been a lot easier to do a live stream after the game, which has been good. 3 new subs. We update the live subscriber count. Appreciate you guys for hopping in on that. As we begin to wind things down, it's been a lot of fun. I'm going to need a running back. That's the way I got to finish out my team. I have my 6 receivers. I have a quarterback. I've got 2 tight ends. It's all over but the crying. Find some young running backs. There's not a lot of them there. Woody Marks, maybe a hint of Rico Dowdle. Actually, Ollie Gordon. Like, at this point, I want to be drafting somebody that if they don't have a role week 1, I can drop them and not care. You know, we're just taking a shot on what that looks like. So we'll pick one of these rookie running backs and call it a day. And actually, I think I know which one I hope falls to me. And he does. It's Ollie Gordon. Because if Jalen Wright, I'm not sure he's the truth. And if Achane really is going to miss time, Ollie Gordon was very talented in college. I think he won the running back of the year award, like, not last year, but 2 years ago, I want to say, in all of college football. So, should have been Cody Schrader, by the way, but that's neither here nor there. All right, let's run through the draft real quick. Okay. McConkey, JSN, Smith, Igbuka. You got a Braylon Allen there off the bench. You got Torrey Horton. That's pretty good. Bijan. You got Jalen Hurts. You got Loveland. That's like a B+. Pretty good draft. That's probably a playoff team. Chase, A.J. Brown, Myers, Coleman, Rashid, Williams. It's not terrible, but would like to see some more behind wide receiver 2. Didn't love the running backs of Chuba Hubbard and Kamara, but again, that's my bias. Like, I'm grading these through the lens that I would want to do for a draft. That doesn't mean it's right. I do love you getting Josh Allen where you got him. I think that's a good value. B- though. I feel like need more punch from RB, needed from wide receiver 3, and needed from flex. Gibbs, Kyron, that's a good start. You managed to have 4 good receivers. Golden is a little bit iffy in your flex spot week 1, but you got like a Benson you could throw in there if you had to. Kyler Kelsey, you grab Goddard as well. It's solid. It's a B. I think I gave this team a B+. That's still in the lead. HD's second so far. Jay Jettas, Higgins, Pearsall, Godwin, Bateman, Tillman. I like the Shipley Davis stuff at the bottom. Didn't love the Connor, but that's, the value was there. Like, he normally goes in the 5th round, so you kind of can take that. Burrow, Kittle, it's fine. It's more of the B range for me. B- maybe. The dad has been crushing it. Let's see if I still like his team. Lamb, Metcalf, Sutton, Samuel, Shakir, Kirk. All right. Like I said with the Metcalf thing, and Taylor Cook is a good starting too. Montgomery feels a little superfluous. I don't like Eckler Dobbins at the end, but I think the last time somebody took Eckler Dobbins, that was the same thing. It's like, those guys are maybe going to start. I don't know. I just don't take those type of players. The Knicks and Njoku thing, it's a little ugly, but it could get there. I just think I wish you were a little bit better at receiver. B-. Your other 2 drafts were definitely better in my opinion, last night and tonight. But still B-, and that's like a fringe playoff team. It's going to be hard to say that a Jamar Chase team doesn't make the playoffs, though. Okay, E, where are we going here? Amon-Ra, Hunter, Diggs, Mooney. Oh, going Efton Chisholm, trying to throw a fastball by me. Okay. Hollywood in the last round, I think, is perfectly suitable. Brown, Henderson, Pacheco, Jordan Mason, very good RB value. For what you spent, you got a really solid 4-pack of running backs. 2 quarterbacks, you went with McBride. That's a B. That's between B and B+. That may be like the 2nd or 3rd best draft, which puts you in range for playoffs for sure after we've identified 6 teams. Another double hero RB, Barkley Irving. We go Worthy, Flowers, Judy Reed, Trey Harris, and Pop Douglas. I like the Algier, Krosky, Merritt. I like the Irving, Barkley. I think Mixon's a wasted pick, but I'm just a hater, so don't mind me. That's in that B range, so probably like 4th through 7. I think that's like the 4th place team through 7 rounds. I like this team, though, I think. Let's see. Neighbors, Pickens, Downs, Burden, Jack Besh as number 5. We not quite strong enough at receiver, but Bowers Daniels is dirty. I mean, that's dirty. And Ken Walker can get it done as the RB1 on the cheap. Harvey by the end of Harvey or Judkins is going to be very suitable at RB2. It's a high B. I think that takes over as the 4th place team after 8. Maybe that's 3rd place. High B. Maybe even B+. Yeah, it's probably B+. Like if these rookie running backs pan out, that's a really good squad. Need a little bit more at receiver. Nah, going B. I'm going back to B. Not quite enough at receiver, but that's quarterback, tight end is going to be really a strength of that team. By the way, I don't think anybody's just like, I'll tell you if I think you're failing on a draft. I think we have generally people who come in here and they know what they're doing, which makes us all better to draft against each other. Quay goes Puka, Tyreek Hill, Rashee Rice, J-Mo, Odunze. Love the 5 receivers other than Tyreek Hill. The Henry thing, obviously he's a stud, so I'm not going to say it as a negative. Charbonnet can start at RB2 until we see more from Caleb Johnson. Jaden Blue is the type of bench running back that you want. You punted tight end and quarterback like you, I think, should based on what you're able to get. That's like a high B to B+. I like these teams. I really do. I might not be a playoff team in this league. And I normally wouldn't say that about myself. There's a lot of B drafts here, though. Brian Thomas, London, Garrett Wilson, Olave, Cup, Mims, Dante Thornton. Brees, Aaron Jones, Brian Robinson, Garendo. The running back is a little iffy. Running back's a little iffy. You wait on quarterback. You got to have Garrett Wilson, and I don't know if I'm a buyer in Garrett Wilson this year, and so I might be more on the B- range for this one. But Ren, you can make the playoffs. You're a good manager. You can get in. All right, CMC, Tracy, Warren, Ollie Gordon. I just don't have enough at running back. I have a decent running back 3, but I don't have candidates to really be studs at running back. But sometimes, I go with what's comfortable when I'm at the turn and I don't like what I see. Collins, Adams, McMillan, Waddle, Addison. This is a good receiving core. Very good receiving core. Higgins at the 6. I got to trade Higgins or Waddle or Devontae Adams with Tracy or Warren for another running back, and I think I'd be okay. But it's like firmly a B. I'm fringe playoff at best. I could have done better. But it's tough from this turn. Genty, Hampton, love the running backs. Evans, Ridley, Jennings, Thielen, Keenan do not like the receivers. And it is full PPR. Mahomes, I appreciate. You did get Tyler Warren. It's B- for me. It's you're going to have to, Ridley's going to have to get 12 targets a game. Evans is going to have to continue being himself. Jennings, it's a little bit iffy there. But you know what? You're playing Hampton in the flex. So, again, I don't think there's a bad draft in the bunch. I think it's a pretty savvy group, and I think we had a lot of fun. All right, that will do it for this, so you guys can begin filtering out. We did it. We got 33 likes. 34. I'm going to update the like counter because we did get to 34. Hit subscribe if you would. Hit the bell so you know what time we're going live tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is Wednesday. I should be able to go live one more time. I do bowling leagues on Thursdays, so I probably can't go live unless it's like midnight that night. So that's where we're at, guys. Appreciate you guys very much. Check out everything else on the channel. Subscribe on TikTok. B Schaeffer, I think it's B Schaeffer FFB on TikTok, just like here on YouTube. But appreciate you guys so much for hopping in. I'm at B Schaeffer 12 as well on Twitter. If you guys, and that's where I'm really accessible for DMs on Twitter at B Schaeffer 12. So appreciate you guys very much. That's going to do it for tonight's stream. I'm going to end it there, and we will talk to you next time. We'll be back for more of these, continuing to get ready for the fantasy football season. Thank you, guys.